every Tuesday evening from 8 to 10. It is a program designed to lift you, helping you to be better, not bitter, helping you to live in the positive, inspiring, uplifting, and impactful. Get Empowered covers topics and real-life situations that are often not discussed. Get Empowered will seek to help you find a reason, not an excuse. Get Empowered provides laughter and encouragement with positive interaction. You can also join the conversation. No subject is too heavy for the team and knowledgeable guests. Relevant, practical, and to the point. That's Get Empowered on the Nation Station every Tuesday evening from 8 to 10. Live in the positive on Get Empowered.
Living in the positive.
For news, views, interviews, special events, music and entertainment, sad occasions, joyous moments, the events that shape our lives in Dominica, around the region and around the world. Listen to DBS Radio. Experience and professionalism. Your number one station.
Here is an invitation to Get Empowered on DBS Radio every Tuesday evening from 8 to 10. It is a program designed to lift you, helping you to be better, not bitter, helping you to live in the positive, inspiring, uplifting, and impactful. Get Empowered covers topics and real-life situations that are often not discussed. Get Empowered will seek to help you find a reason, not an excuse. Get Empowered provides laughter and encouragement with positive interaction. You can also join the conversation. No subject is too heavy for the team and knowledgeable guests. Relevant, practical, and to the point. That's Get Empowered on the Nation Station every Tuesday evening from 8 to 10. Live in the positive on Get Empowered.
Living in the positive.
All right, yeah, so we are getting there. Let's mute it. We are getting there, and we are live. Those of you tuning in, you're home. I guess you'll check us out on Facebook, on YouTube, and I guess all of the works. So that's basically what, and you can always drop the comments. So let me get set. 1, 2, 3, go. All right, so here's it, and I'm thankful to be on. It's the 9th day of the 6th month, yeah, 2023, 26. I'm bringing myself back in time. And my name is Michael Jajak. Get Empowered is a program where we seek to empower you, a program where we seek to help you find a reason, not an excuse. You know, our world is filled with excuses. We do a lot of things, say a lot of things, give a lot of excuses in some ways, and but we try to help you find a reason. We try to help you get better, not bitter. All right, so it's because time has moved on us. My guest is already seated. So let me see. My guest is a simple guy. He's simple guy. He don't like all of this big time introduction. So we have a similar kind of thing in our DNA in that sense. We don't like all these complications. We just like it simple, and we keep it positive in that sense. So I'm just trying to pull up my notes, so we keep it simple. Hey Mervin, you good? You doing well, bro?
Yeah, I'm here, man. Can you hear me?
I'm hearing you loud and clear like you're next door.
All right, good.
Yeah, I'm hearing you loud and clear like you're next door, and we are very thankful that you are tuned in. You're from Cottage. You love Jesus. You know what I mean. You're a counselor.
That's right.
You did drug prevention. I'll just say all of that, out of my head. And you're married. You love your family. You're a good guy. You know what I mean. You're passionate about what you do. Am I saying the right thing about you? You're very passionate about what you do.
So far.
Yeah. So far.
Yeah.
So if I'm saying the right thing about you, or so far you feeling good about what I'm saying about you? Which are they?
Both.
Both. Wonderful. But good to have you locked in, Mervyn. And what's the weather like in your neck of the wood?
Well, in my area, it's gray. It rained in another part where I worked heavily today, but
Okay.
in where I am now, it's dry, though gray, weather kind of gray. But it's all good. I'm inside.
Wonderful. Gray because of rain coming, or gray because there's so much stuff in the air, in the atmosphere?
I think it's because of rain, because we had some rain over the last couple of days. So I think it's rain. It's pretty much just the weather condition. Yeah.
Yeah, we are impacted by the Saharan dust, so sometimes it'll look like it's going to be raining, and it's gray, and it's like, man, you just kind of, it's funny. So you look from, if you're driving under the Canefield Cliff and you look down north or up north, you will just like, is it right? But it's just so much of the dust, you understand?
Yeah.
So we are impacted by that in some ways. And one fear is it keeps the rain away, that kind of thing. But so we didn't have much rain today, just a little sprinkle in that sense. Some parts maybe more than others. But it's a lovely evening here in the Nature Ride. And it's really good to have you. And we are in for a discussion, and we're going to be conversing on some things tonight. And is there anything else you want to say, or is there anybody you want to give a shout out before we run with what we want to do tonight?
I just want to say, a very special good evening to all the listeners. I have quite a few of my friends who are locked on. They promised that they would be listening. I want to say a very special good evening to a couple of brothers, Ken John Charles, Mentos, and Richo. We form a mission organization called Transformation Point, and we're looking forward to head to home in the summer to do some work. So I just want to shout out these guys, good brothers, that the Lord has placed in my life. And we just continue to do things to the honor and glory of God, or for the honor and glory of God. And Dominica, man, my home, my land, my heart, just, greetings, everybody.
All right, wonderful. So you have a network of brothers. You guys hang out, you guys speak, you guys pray, you laugh together, eat together. Does Mentos still fall on the ground, on the floor on the ground when he's laughing? That guy, does he still do that kind of thing? Mentos ain't grown up yet, boy?
I'm sure he'll be listening, so he'll answer you.
Mr. Laughing, Mr. Freeing himself. Mr. Freeing himself, dog. We should
like the people say, you declare in Mentos.
Yeah, man, Mentos are like that. When we share a couple things. We still hang out a lot after church in Granby. You know what I mean? Just hang out sometime and just.
He said that.
Just talk.
That.
I was pastor, but there are times when I was the boys. I was, I didn't wear my pastor thing like I can't be the boys. So that sometimes we're just the boys. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I'm the pastor with the boys. And then they respect that role. So when it's the time for me to be the strict pastor, I am that. But when it's time for us to roll on the floor if we have to do that. We did that. And Mentos had these memorable moments. So good evening to you, Mentos. Good evening to Richo. And all of those of you who were connected with us, Mervyn Paul and all of us during our growing up years at PPFC, we slept on the benches, and we had good time. We laughed, and church was so much fun. We bonded well. And some of us still remain, even if we don't communicate as often. There's still that tightness that when we meet, it's like we don't miss a beat. Because of all of what has happened. So I thank you for just your continued connection and
Of course.
your continued friendship and all of that. You know, we've cried together and shared loss, like our buddy last year, you know, but we've laughed together in moments, and we even get lost together. I won't tell the people about that.
Yeah, man, that was something.
Yeah,
that's a whole experience.
Yeah, the whole experience driving in a foreign country and not knowing.
I know, man.
Yeah, that's kind of thing. But these are the days they help make you and shape you, and we can trade that for nothing else. So appreciate you, and again, thanks for being on board. And you know, the what we share is so much more than the title we carry. You understand, and we live in a world that's big on title, and some, I don't want to be critical in that way, big on title, but small in terms of impact, influence, word, and all of that. And that's not a judgment on anyone, but it's just that there's just a simplicity about what we do and how we operate. And we pray for God's grace tonight as we share in empowering people, in helping everyone to be in a better place. So if you are tuned in via Facebook or YouTube or Channel 50, or however you are tuned in, or just the radio. I like the radio, you know, just the radio. Some person are just traditional, they just the radio. They're not into all of the other stuff, because sometimes the other stuff is distracted. It's like they want to look at, what color should I have, what color, you know, some people could get distracted in the moment, but we hope that you get distracted with all of the other little things that's happening and things like that, but you stay, because there's some information that's valuable. So good evening to my dear wife, my daughter, good evening to all my family, good evening to the church family that I pastor in Warner, WPC, and all of you lovely people that's connected, and all of you near and far, and all of you who meet me on the road and just let me know you are tuned in to Get Empowered, and I look forward to that. And there's some special people within the Kalinago space. I won't specifically call their name, but there's some people within the Kalinago space that I was told will be connected and listening. You know yourself. So good evening to you, and good evening to all of you, the first people within the Kalinago space. Hope you guys are doing wonderful well. So, yes, moving. So we want to talk about rising above the victim mentality. We want to talk a little bit about that, and on Get Empowered. And, you know...
But am I supposed to be seeing you, Pastor John?
You're not seeing me?
No. So I'm not seeing you. That's why I'm wondering.
Oh, so who are you saying?
Nobody. Are you seeing me?
You seeing you? All right, because
I'm not seeing you.
Because on screen and on, but you are on. We are on. You're on Zoom.
I'm seeing myself.
Yeah, so you're on Zoom and you're not seeing. Okay, so we'll try to fix that where you could see me.
I'm seeing myself, but I'm not seeing you.
Okay. All right, but all right. So you should be seeing me. I'm good looking enough, so you need to see me. Yeah. All right. So we'll try to sort that out. But on Facebook, we are both seen side by side, and so the tech is there.
I don't know. I'm not seeing you.
The tech is there, so
I'm seeing myself.
Okay, the tech is there, so hopefully he will fix that, and we'll see how that work out for you to see me on Zoom. Okay, but as you hear, we will be talking about rising above the victim mentality. That's what we want to be sharing about, and just seek to help persons with that. Rising above, because there's so much that happened from the victim mentality, and where people are, what has caused it, what brought them there, and some people choose to stay there. There's a sympathy aspect of it where people love it, you know, and they love love people to feel sorry for them, all in that thing. We'll seek to explore all of that, and at the end of the day, be in a place where we are better. All right, as we sort out the the video aspect of some things. We continue to reach out and just say good evening to all of you listening. So far we have Richo is tuned in and he's saying hi. We have Elroy Thomas, bro, listening, and
That's my buddy in Canada.
okay, so we have Elroy. Elroy is locked in, and Richo is locked in, and I guess some folks are letting us know that they are tuned in. So good to have them locked in at this time. As you see on screen, it's rising above the victim mentality with Mervyn Paul, and improving your mental health, preserving and staying in your place of peace. So many things are coming. Our world is interesting, Mervyn. You fine?
It is, and I dare say getting even more interesting as well. You know, the if you look at what we had when we were growing up in terms of what was around us, our environment, our decision-making process, you know, the opportunities or lack thereof available to us. Everything is so different now, and I like the fact that you said it is interesting, because it is more demanding right now.
Yeah.
You know, I can finally see.
You seen me, all right? Okay, cool.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Yeah. So it's an interesting world, like you rightly said. It's a very interesting world.
Yeah. And it will even get more so with all kinds of stuff happening. So folks have to brace up. So when we talk here of, you know, being in a good place in terms of where you are with your mental health, you know, and rising above all of those things that have impacted you. Because the thing is, we are not living in isolation. Our interaction with people, you know, on a daily basis or even over the years, you know, with people, with institutions, all of that, you know, puts it in a place where it's not always comfortable for you, you know, and it's not always comfortable for you. And one have to learn in this journey that you will not always hear things that is comfortable for you. You will not you know, people will not behave in a way that is comfortable for you. Some of it is either deliberate, some of it is by design outside of you, even outside of the person, but just to make you. Because the porter, if we should talk about that, for the porter, in making you who he wants you to be, will cause some things to rub on you, to chip you. No way, you don't want to be chipped, but you have to be chipped, you know, to become that, you know. And I guess that's where maybe some people take on that thing of I'm a victim. And you know, so that's another conversation, but I'm just looking at the fact that because we are within the space of interaction and reaction and all of that stuff, it's very possible for us to see ourselves as I do think that people like me, I do think that people think me, and then you have those who definitely come against you. What do you think? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and you're right. You see, one of the things we miss as just human beings generally is we do not take enough time to identify the forces, the external forces that has the potential to impact on us one way or another. Mm-hmm. And so, because of that lack of awareness, we tend to respond and react differently, almost either out of shock and surprise. It's almost like we're caught off guard every time things happen, you know. And I think one of the things that largely contributes to our reaction is our lack of awareness of the world we're living in, and what are the forces in our environment that will demand, you know, whether directly or indirectly, make demands on our spirits, make demands on our minds, make demands on our emotions, you know, and if we fail to become cognizant of those and to stay aware and to stay alert, then it's likely our response will itself be part of the problem.
Yeah. Right.
Because oftentimes we probably will never respond the way we should to the situations, and sometimes we make situations bigger than they are because of our lack of awareness of the forces that impact us externally.
Right, but that doesn't take away the fact that there are persons who come across as bullies, as people to get you and people to hurt you, and all of that stuff, which we'll look at in a while. But what you're saying is so correct. But we must be aware of that space you rub with people, you move with people, and sometimes it becomes almost like a dog eat dog kind of thing, where it's where I want to go, and if you in my way, I'll step on you. You understand? Or I might say something to ensure that I break you so badly that you get out of my way. And so we carry these hurts, we carry these things and stuff like that, and then we. Some persons take on to themselves that, because we're talking about a victim mentality. Help us now understand, and we'll break it down in a broad sense, or just explain to us what is the real, what we're saying when we talk about a victim and the victim mentality.
Yeah, so, like I said earlier on, because we are sometimes so wrapped up in our own selves, in our own world, we fail to stay aware, and to discern the forces external of our little world that can impact on us daily. And because of that, when certain things happen in our environment, in our society, and it could be a home, it could be a workplace, it could be, the sports club, it could be in the church, it could be, the different organizations and associations that you're affiliated to or you're part of, then you respond differently. Now, because you are caught off guard, oftentimes you tend to blame everything else. So you blame everything else. So you blame the society, you blame the church and the pastors, you blame your spouse, you blame your children, you blame your boss, you blame the government, you blame, everything that for your inability or your failure, for want of a better term, to respond properly to the situation. And in the process, you carry yourself in a manner that it's almost like you want people to feel sorry for you. And it's never you. There's no culpability. There's no taking of responsibility. There's no accountability. It's always everything else. And as a result of that, you find people either become withdrawn, they become isolated. When they fail in certain endeavors, it's always because somebody else did not do something for them or be right by them. And that constant blaming everything else but what responsibility do I take is what places you in that victim, spectrum, so to speak, where you are always the one everybody's beating down on, even when nobody's probably even looking in your direction.
Yeah.
But it is your mindset that somebody looks at you and why they looking at me funny? Is it because I'm ugly? Is it because they know something about me? That kind of thing. And it prevents you, and there are many things we can talk about as it relates to how that inhibits your progress in life, or it prevents you from going forward.
But you mentioned like a person, all right? And in terms of how they look at you. But the victim mentality, I'm asking, is it only created by people? Can it be created by institution, by groups, so you could be within a certain group that can deal with a certain way within a certain work environment, or within just the institutions of the land and how they treat you? Can that create that also?
Well, you see, that is what I want us to understand tonight, that like I said earlier on, forces, external forces. So it could be from your work, it could be from your organization, your church, like I said, even your family, the sports club. They can take actions. They will take actions. Things will happen. They don't create the victim mentality. you create that victim mentality because you put yourself in a position where you allow those things to make you feel like less than, or makes you feel that you don't have the ability to. So it is not about what people do, because people will do, institutions will do. You for example, you're in a job, you are unemployed in an institution, and they may bypass you for promotion. You know, and they may look to somebody else who probably came after you, and you feel you have more experience or maybe even better qualified. That is what the organization does. The organization is not going to do it with a view of making you feel like a victim. If you, the explanation might be, this is who they feel better suited for the job that they want.
Right.
But interpret that in a way that you present yourself as the victim. Well, why are they doing that to me? Why are they always looking, rather than looking in, well, what can I do to improve myself, to ensure that I get the look in?
Right.
And sometimes it may not be even in this very institution. I always used to say that when I worked at different levels of government, sometimes you may have to make a lateral move to go up.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I wouldn't sit here and say that a particular work institution is going to make you feel like the victim, or they bring the victim mentality on you. That mentality is you. It's within your control. You have to now decide how you allow whatever is happening around you to impact upon you, if you allow it to at all.
Yeah, because as you keep saying, it's something you take on yourself. You know, it's not that they're telling you, look, I'm going to squeeze you and make you that. But because, you know, almost like I say, to every action there's a reaction. And we continue to react by how we create things within our mind. You know, with the question we ask, two persons might be in a corner in the workspace speaking about something completely different. But because they glance, somebody may have just glanced in a direction. You feel that the conversation is about you.
They're talking about you,
right?
Yeah.
And in that, you see they are the reason why I didn't get it, you know. And then you could begin to create all that guilt and all of that. How about we're speaking in that sense though? But how can a victim mentality come out of the situation of bullying, of abuse? You know, in that sense, can one take on that type of mindset and that mentality from coming out of being bullied or being abused? Let's say a wife, a husband, even within a relationship, a child. You understand? Be the, you know.
Any situation can cause you or cause one to put themselves in that vein. Any situation. Again, it is what you allow. You see, even if the intent of the external action is to do that, it is how much you allow it to impact upon. It's what you take on. Sometimes people bully people because they were bullied.
Right.
Their intention is not to make you feel the victim, but that is what they know. So, for example, a bully may have been bullied, and he feels the only way to show that I'm tough is to say I'm going to do the same thing that was done to me. His intention is not to make you feel like the victim. His intention is he's taking care of himself. He's trying to deal with what has happened to him and what it caused him to become. So you now have to decide whether you're going to allow yourself to be bullied. And that doesn't mean that you have to fight physically and take a knife or take a gun and so on. But there are different ways of dealing with that. And you have to decide whether, because you were bullied in school, that you're going to allow it to impact you throughout your life, where you become a troubled bigger brother, a troubled father, a troubled husband. You cannot build proper friendships. You don't trust. And it's always, well, you know, since I little boy, they're doing that to me and that kind of thing. It is what you allow.
Right.
That does not mean the situations, the external forces, the external situations will not be there or not be created. The question is you. It's you. And until you find out who you are and what potentials lie in you and your abilities and begin to and set for yourself what you want to become, it is likely that every situation that occurs around you has the potential to make you feel like a victim.
Right. And then you get in that. If you're within the space that it is, you're trying to pull yourself together, but you are forever reminded of you not being, or you and you're constantly reminded by that. Would you say that that's a different environment, in terms of that mental, being a victim? If you're constantly in it, you have now moved. Are you saying that you would have moved from a victim to one who is constantly abused? And can you safeguard yourself within that environment?
Well, again, you see, that is a couple of things have to happen here. So let us say you live in an environment where you're always being told, "Oh, you're not good. You'll never make it. You're stupid. You're dumb. Your father was foolish. That's why you end up foolish." That, and every day you hear that. You hear that. That is where you have to find out who you really are. That is because these are people speaking into your life, so to speak. They're telling you things that they perceive. The question is, do you know really who you are? Right. Have you taken time to find out who you are, what your potentials are, what your abilities are? You understand? And until you find out who you are, you'll be like chaff in the wind. Every time somebody says something to or about you, it has such an telling impact on you that you're even afraid to open your door in the morning, because you feel the next person you see is going to tell you the same thing because somebody told that to you yesterday. So it has to take you to begin. And you see, the thing is, I'll tell you this too. Oftentimes, people tell you things about yourself to make you feel a particular way because they see potential in you.
They're breaking you.
They see potential in you, and they are threatened by your potential. Say you're in a workplace and people know you're good at you're sharp when it comes to IT. You're very sharp, but they feel that you become, if they can break you, if they can say things that would emotionally destroy you, things that would rent space in your head, that you would just become, every time you see them, you're reminded of the negative things that they would have said about you. Then gradually, you're going to be taking it on, as against seeking to identify who you truly are. What is it about me that I can do? You see, so it requires that kind of seeking to find out and identify your strengths. I can tell you, growing up, people said a lot of things to me, unsavory things. Yeah. People used to tell me, "Oh, I crooked," and it was true. I was bold-legged. I was very, very bold, and people used to tell me, "Oh, look at you," and so on. I remember people saying things about people who knew my biological father's situation, and they said certain things, But I was determined to show that I would be different, that nothing that people felt that would come down the generation line negatively was going to linger over me. You understand me? Yeah. And so I always told myself to push against the odds. Work through the gray areas. And a lot of times those things are said, people are actually projecting themselves on you. They're projecting their own feelings about themselves on you. So you have to be aware of that as well,
Right. And we'll come to a question in terms of helping shape some things in that respect. But listening to you, a lot of us black folks, and I don't want to make this particular thing racist, but I'm going to make the comment in that context. We know the situation is apartheid in South Africa. We know what happened. Nelson Mandela was jailed in that sense. And I remember reading, something he said that, he was not going to be in jail bitter, and because some of these people who did something, whatever they did, they had no idea stuff, I guess ignorance, all of the other stuff. And it was, some person even wasn't understand the cycle within all of it. But he made the determination that they're not going to break me. They're not going to make me.
That's a very good example.
Yeah.
That's an excellent example.
Yeah.
Because he was in prison already.
Yeah.
So he was already sentenced, and he being bitter was not going to get him out of prison.
Yeah.
So he made a choice that he would use his current situation as an opportunity to grow and to build himself.
Right.
And to do something that would create a lifelong impact.
Yeah.
Which actually is still is so today.
Yeah.
So this is precisely what I'm saying. When you are faced with those situations, it is for you now to decide how you allow the situation that you are confronted with to impact upon you.
Right.
And rather than seeking to lay blame and ascribe blame and always point the finger at people, which sometimes may be justified because people would have done your stuff.
Right.
Some of the situations you probably don't have control over. You never had control over. If you were abused as a child, whether mentally, physically, sexually, or emotionally, you can't go back and change that. You cannot erase it. You cannot scrub it from your life.
Right.
But the question is, what do you take from it going forward? Right. How do you allow that situation to impact upon you going forward?
Yeah.
And that is what is important.
There may be a difficulty, though. I was sharing at just something at church. I was using Psalms 121 and just sharing some stuff with us. And one thing I was sharing is sometimes it's hard to see a way out when you're in a hole. But when we get to Nelson, if you go back to him, and persons like him, because he championed the cause for many, the thinking solution kind of mindset have to come into play if you're really going to survive within this. For example, whether you feel like a victim or not, what we're saying about with everything that's happening around us, you always have to think solution, as you journey in life, because you're going to come across it all the time. I'm not sure if you have ever been fired, but some people have been fired from their work. I was fired one time, and it stunned me moving because I was such an example. I mean, a model worker, try to make sure the T's are crossed, the I's are dotted, and when I walked away from it, and I was like, man, it was rough in that sense. But you think solution, because being fired doesn't mean the end of your world. A lot of time, and the victim becomes, that person take on that victim mentality because whatever happened to them, they conclude that that's the end of it for me. Go ahead.
You're absolutely correct. And interestingly, I was doing something with my son last week. We were outside doing something, and I was just talking to him, having a conversation with him. And I was asking him, do you know what it means when you hear necessity is the mother of invention? And he quite smartly said, yes, that when your back is against the wall, you become creative. You find ways to do things.
Right.
An example is, say you go hiking and you fell off the trail and you found yourself in a deep, dark portion of the jungle. Are you just going to say, well, I'm in the jungle already, it's dark, I might as well just lay down and die or wait for me to die? Or are you going to now figure out, okay, I fell down from that side, and go back. I'm going to use a term is that when you're in a hole, you don't see a way out. Now you fell in this dark jungle, you ain't seeing any way out.
Yeah.
But you fell. Right. So that means you came down a particular way.
Right.
So there must be, the same way you came down, there have to be a way.
Right.
So you're going to figure out, you're going to feel around, You're gonna, fidget. If it's dark, you're gonna say there are trees there. You're gonna decide, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna hold on to this tree until daylight comes.
Right.
At least I have a tree to hold on to, so I can stay there until daylight comes.
Yeah.
If it is the
It
day,
becomes my safe
you're gonna
place.
look. Oh, exactly. If it is day, you're gonna be looking. Oh, that's why I fell. So, are there any rocks? If there are no rocks, if I shout, is my voice going to echo? Is somebody going to hear me? You become creative. You
Right.
begin to think of
Right.
how can I get myself out of it? Because you think in survival. It is the same sort of mentality in life. When you're stuck in situations where you feel like the world is coming against you, what do? Do you lay down and die? And sadly, we've seen people who have done things to themselves as a result of they giving up on life, giving up and saying, well, there's no hope for me. I have been abused, I've been taken advantage of, I've been fired, and we see the rippling effects, and we can go on and talk about those things. So it is what you use the situation that you're faced with to do for you, as against how you allow it to impact you negatively.
Yeah, and not to, I'll jump ahead, but we'll come back. In terms of the example you gave and all of the creative abilities that come. We were made that way. The way we were created really to finance us, to solve problems, and to get out of holes. You put a man somewhere, you put an animal, a beast in some stuff, they'll stay there and die. They'll bird, they'll use a sheep, it will bleat, it will do all kind of stuff. A goat will raise thing, they'll ramp and rage and all of that stuff, and just stay there and actually end up dying. A man will try to figure. Even fellas in jail, you put a man in a jail. You're a prison officer one time. You put a man in a jail and you lock him up and anything.
That's
like
how guys escape.
Yeah,
That's how
fellas
guys escape.
will.
They figure out ways. They figure out ways to get out.
Guys have used what? Nail files, all kind of stuff.
Man, listen, I saw all kind of
quietly
stuff. I saw all
and constantly, dig out.
That's right.
It's like it may take me some time, and I think what is important. To some of us want to get out of it now. So a plan of action is lacking. A process. This step must follow this one. I must, if I'm going to get on. We mentioned the whole fact of being overlooked for a promotion, and you had a perfect answer. It could be, rather than saying, why are they not giving me the thing? I have so long idea. It could be, what is it I need to do? To put myself in a place where I am not overlooked next time. You understand?
If I may jump in here, you're making a very, very salient point. Even before you get to the plan of action, you must do an assessment of the situation that you're dealing with.
Yeah.
You have to evaluate it. You have to look at where you are currently. You understand me?
Yeah.
You do an assessment. This is where I'm at. What do I have at my disposal? What do I need? Once you complete that assessment, then you put the plan together, you put the strategy together. And life is like that. That is why many times people who are impulsive, they just make decisions irrationally, without thinking, without processing. They have to go back and start, or they find themselves falling short.
Right.
So in life itself, when you face situations, rather than putting yourself in this role where you want people to feel sorry for you, you want somebody to come and say, as we say in local parlance, hey lass, that they do you, hey la, why they did that to you? You need to dust yourself up, sit down and say, this is where I'm at. This is the reality of the situation that I'm at.
Right.
Look, example, quickly. People leave. Look at these people, these people who the immigrants who enter countries with no papers. They walk for hundreds of miles across borders to enter the US or Europe, from Africa, wherever. When they get to where they want to go, they assess the situation. I have nobody, but I know if I sleep under the garage for the next 3 months with, go and beg this guy, I can get a cleaning job. And after 6 weeks, I will get a license and I will work in the warehouse. And before you know it, after 3 years, they're supervisors of the warehouse. They didn't sit down in their country and say, well, you know what, it's finished. I'm finished. I'm done. You know, no. They decide I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna go. And I'm not going to stay and just say, well, it's done for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you use a couple of words here in helping folks, because by the way, let me just take this pause and just say to you, and but you are tuned into DBS Radio. It's Tuesday. It's the 9th day of June. The program is Get Empowered. My guest tonight, as you say, is Mervyn Paul. Mervyn is a Dominican. He's living outside of Dominica now. He went through the rope, a prison officer, counselor, and worked within the disaster system, worked a lot with men in terms of helping. So Mervyn is in a good place to help us with what we're speaking about, rising above the victim mentality and improving your mental health, preserving and staying in your place of peace. So we're having that discussion. So I want to just say good evening to all of you, those of you on Facebook, those of you on YouTube, viewing us on YouTube, and just listening the traditional way on radio or maybe via DBS Channel 50. It's a pleasure to have you, and we want to just in just dealing with our conversation tonight, just thank you so much for being part of what we do here. Mervyn, you one of the things you in a couple of the write-ups that you had me read, to help them get over the whole idea of getting over this mental state. You have some very choice words that I want to just engage you in, because we want to think we can wallow in the thing and not move on. We want to, in some ways, create solutions. We want to help in some understanding how you could get up, because you're a victim. The plan is not to stay a victim all the time. So to help them get over this mentality, they must endeavor to get to the place where they take action. And one thing you're recommending is the whole factor of accountability. All right, I'm seeing there. Now, when we think of accountability, we are looking at being answerable, and we're looking at being responsible. How do we get someone who right or wrong feel they are the victim to be accountable? How be it you're right in being that or you're wrong in being that? How do we get them to be that?
Well, so again, we need to go back to doing an assessment of where you are. First of all, you need to be able to assess the situation that you're confronted with, whether it's bullying, whether it's workplace victimization, whether you feel that you're supposed to be getting assistance to build your house, you didn't get, whether it's you were supposed to get a scholarship, you didn't get, and all of that. You need, I think that is one of the biggest Achilles heel for people generally, is we find it very difficult asking ourselves, hey, did I do anything to, put myself in that position? Is there anything that I could have done differently?
Right.
What part of the responsibility that I take? What is it about me that I could have, what about my actions that I could have done better? I could have done differently. Did I put myself in a position where I caused people to think that I was a walkover? Was I involved in conversations that I should not have been involved in? Did I put my hands in certain, was I part of activities that I should not have been part of? So you need to ask yourself those questions. No, you're not asking yourself those questions with a view to beat up yourself, but it is to find out, are there things that I could have done differently that I know will do differently going forward? Right. So it is always important to turn your eyes inward for a moment. It is always important to look inward for a moment and ask yourself, am I culpable in any way? The answer may be no, but you will not know that if you didn't do that self evaluation. You wouldn't know that, because if you just keep looking out and blaming everybody, you will never see what it is that you need to do, what is it you did wrong.
So are you speaking of a self-accountability and accountability to yourself? Is there such a thing where I become accountable to myself?
You have to hold yourself accountable.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. We have to stop. Listen, you have a business. Somewhere along the year, you're going to say we close today because we're taking stock.
Right.
You're going to close the business to take stock. So you're going to look inward and see where did you make profits, where did you fail, why did you fail.
No, but one can
Maybe
say,
you
not to
give
trip you, one can say that now is a necessity that is outside of you because the law asks for it. But no, you know, I'm using that there. How would you, because you're close to take stock, all right? Which
No, but
is
the
a
law
request.
doesn't tell you to take stock in
Okay.
brother.
No,
You
but
decide to take stock.
But
You
for-
decide to take stock because you want to assess
Yeah.
whether the business is profitable and where, if you say, for example, you're selling multiple items, which one of those items you probably need to get rid of because
right.
it doesn't bring money,
So
you're
your
making a loss
inventory,
with it.
yeah.
You might as well do away with that.
Yeah.
So that's right, you do your inventory and
Yeah.
you decide, you know what, that I ain't selling that anymore. I am making money out
Right,
of that.
right.
And maybe I need to bring in a new item
Right.
to replace it because the demand for that item is increasing.
Right.
So it is no nobody says you have to do that. You can just decide you're
Right.
just going to be selling. You can go on and you don't have to close your business to
Right.
take stock at any time.
Right.
Or you can choose another way to take stock by not even closing the business. The bottom line is at somewhere in the life of the
You have
business,
to evaluate.
you're going to do some evaluation.
Yeah.
And that is what I'm saying. When we are confronted with situations, we often, human beings, we like to look at who did that to me? What system that the government did that to me? The ministry of this did that to me. You see, it's the pastor. You see, it's the nurse. You see, it's the police. The question is, what responsibility are you taking for where you are? Is there anything that you need to take responsibility for? You may find that everything else, everything that caused you to be where you are, was not your doing.
I
But
smile-
you
I
will
smile
only
in-
find that out.
I smile in movie because as you say that there, I heard a woman say, all men are dogs. You know?
Here we go.
All men-
Here we go.
And I'm just
Here we
thinking,
go.
all men are dogs. So it's like,
Here we go.
you mean every one of the guys you have with their dogs?
Here we
So
go.
what are you telling yourself now?
Exactly.
what
What
are
are you
you-
saying about yourself?
Right.
What are you saying about
you
yourself?
know what I mean?
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What are you saying about yourself?
Yeah.
And why is it that you didn't learn from one dog? You didn't learn from two dogs. You didn't learn from. Why are you not learning?
Yeah, right.
What is it about you
Yeah.
that you are missing? You see, so and that is where that whole victim mentality. So you hear people crying about this and that. Oh, they did that to me and they did that to me. That's fine. People will do your things,
Yeah.
and that's why we started
Yeah.
by talking about the external forces.
Yeah.
What is it that you're doing to yourself?
Right.
Are you not taking? What actions are you not taking that's causing you pain? What actions have you taken that's causing you pain? You see, so it is very important for you to make that first move. That you have to hold yourself accountable. You have to do some introspection. You have to look at. Listen, I am here. What brought me to this point? What are the contributing factors that brought me to this point?
Okay.
Are they internal? Are they external? You will not find that out until you take time to stop and think of where you're at.
All right, but so before we go on, one person asking, can someone be at a place where they are totally trapped? Because we talk about external and all of that stuff. Can one be at a place where they are totally trapped with that victim mentality, or or being a victim? Maybe not with the mentality, because you could be in prison and be, I do not know, I've never been in prison. You've worked within the system, so you see guys. Somebody could be incarcerated and be operating with a certain level of liberty, or where they have joy, they could sing the song. Whereas another could be under the mango tree, always feeling sorry for himself. His nail can't grow because he biting it, and he say, when I get out, if I get out, that Mr. That do me that will be, and that kind of stuff. And then he could be there and just not saying. So I'm asking, can one be in a place where they make that victim mentality such that they are trapped almost for life?
So I don't know about totally trapped, but I know some situations can be more acute than others.
Right.
You can be really in a deep, dark place.
Right.
But let me use an example here for you. I will probably help unravel that. Have you ever seen situations where people are kidnapped? All right? The kidnapper has the kidnapped.
Yeah.
And they have a negotiator. And the negotiator is talking to the kidnapper for days on, trying to talk him or her out or releasing the person. Couple days after negotiations seem not to be working, the kidnapped person is now asking for them to leave. Have you ever heard the situation where the kidnapped person falls in love with the kidnapper?
Yeah.
Or they have such a strong bond that they feel, listen, probably that's where I belong. No, guess what? In many cases, it is the for want of a better word, the setting up the kidnapper for them to get away.
Right.
So they know, rather than seeking to fight or playing scared, they begin to develop that kind of thing where if I play nice and I begin to have conversation with him or her, and I start talking with them and saying, they may believe, well, I really want to be with them. And then they will let their guards down.
Right.
And then that gives me an opportunity to walk away when they least expect.
Right.
And now the point I'm making is, no matter what situation you're in, if you are thinking right, you can always figure out something. Now, granted, somebody may have you in a situation where they have a gun to your head, you're not going to act stupid. But that is where you have to immediately assess the situation and think of the best situation. For example, another example, a woman might be living with a man who abuses her badly physically.
Or verbally.
So every day, but I want to focus on the physical. I'll tell you why.
Okay.
So she goes to work every day and she paints her face nicely. So you don't see the bruises, you don't see anything, but she's scared because he keeps telling her, the day you tell anybody anything, I will shoot you on your job. I will meet you on the road and I will shoot you. That kind of thing. So she comes to work. She's the most man. She gets herself drowned in work and so. But from time she jumps in the vehicle to get back home, she is a terrified person, and she's thinking, "How do I get out of that? I am trapped." Now you're trying to tell me that your life is at risk to the point where the guy is threatening you, that he will allow you to go out to work every day, and you're so scared that you will go back home to the situation when you are allowed to leave work, to leave home to go to work. I'm not saying the first day you're going to run away, but you need to begin to take these opportunities to create something in your mind, set up a plan in your mind that you can get yourself out of it. So to answer the question, there are situations where people can be really, trapped in a deep, dark place. Now, if we have to look at it from another standpoint, people may have found themselves in a situation where they feel that emotionally and mentally and spiritually, they're in a dark place. They can't get out. There's no hope, no hope for me anymore. And so they find themselves resorting to drugs and suicide and other things. The question is, who did they talk to about what they're going through? What lifeline, what red flag did they send that somebody could read it? What signal? Did they just lock themselves away and became a drinker? Every time they close their room door, they drink their night away. Next day they get up, dress up, they go to work. As soon as they get home, they're back drinking again because they're dealing with some psychological issues. They're dealing with the death of a loved one. So there's always something that can be done to help you get yourself out of that situation. So yes, there are dark situations that can trap you. Can you get out of it? Is there a way out? I believe there is always a way out.
Right.
As long as you have life, there's always a way out.
Right. I not to run after this one, but I was just in preparing for tonight. I read something of a mindset of learned helplessness, and we'll maybe deal with that later. But it's a thing. It came up, a mind, and I found that. When I read that, a mindset of learned helplessness, where you bring yourself to the place where you feel there is no hope, there's no help, I'm just that. This is what it is. And out of that mindset of learned helplessness is a deep need for pity, self-pity. People always feeling sorry for you, that kind of thing. And if you are in that state, where you love pity, which will maybe help define or break down some things. I'm not sure, Mervyn, if we, as I mentioned that here, if it might be a good thing to hold back on some of the answers and maybe run through what could be, in that sense, signs of a victim mentality. What you could maybe share some things, and then we'll come back to that, getting out of it. So let's quickly, but before that, let me just refer to, I see on Facebook we have a question. What about those who are filled with personal insecurities? That's one person asking that, Michael Rich. And then they're asking, how do we differentiate what is bullying and being challenged? So we have two things there. So if you want to tackle that, and then once we're done answering that, we can look at what are maybe the signs of a situation of victim mentality.
Right. So if I'm just to address one of the questions that you had in keeping with signs of victim mentality, somebody person asked about personal insecurities.
Yeah.
You see, we're not living like Robinson Crusoe on an island on all by ourselves. We must understand that we all live in a community of your family, a community of your work, your peers at work, a community of your sports club, a community of your church, a wider community of everybody in the village or in the town that you live, right? And nobody's asking you to just take a placard, write everything down that you're going through, and run down the street and say, well, I'm dealing with that. This is what no, that's not what it is. But there must be one person that you trust. There must be one person that you can talk to. There must be somebody that you can open up to. And you may not be able to open up to them, or you may not be willing to open up to them immediately, like with everything, but you can start somewhere.
Right.
There must be, because you work with somebody, you sleep with somebody, whether in your home with your siblings, your families, you interact on the beach, you interact on the playing field. So there must be somebody that you can talk to about things that are bothering you, things you feel inadequate about.
Right.
There are people who feel that they're ugly. They feel they're ugly. And that might be something you're dealing with because you keep telling yourself, well, you're not looking like so and so.
Right.
But I tell people, put up your hand. None of your 5 fingers are the same length, but they're on the same hand. You understand me? Look at your family, your siblings, unless you are twins, identical twins. You may have siblings and all there's something different about each of you.
Yeah.
So yes, there will be personal insecurities, but we can take those personal insecurities and make them strengths.
Yeah.
We can make them strengths. We can seek to take those insecurities and make them strengths. Again, it is about seeking to cultivate good friendships where you can trust people, because that is very important as well. It's trust, building trust, so you can begin to trust people with certain things that you're dealing with. That is one of the things. But to go back to the question that you asked about identifying people who are seemingly suffering from that victim mentality. Withdrawal is one of the things. Withdrawal
okay.
is one of the key factors or symptoms. People suddenly become isolated.
Right.
They don't get involved. They were probably good sportsmen,
okay.
But they feel that they never achieved, and they just withdraw. I don't know that thing, they withdraw. They don't play football anymore, they don't play cricket, they don't play basketball. When you ask about them, they say, well, the person all they do is go to work and they go home. When they get the shot, you don't see withdrawal. They stop talking. sometimes it could be that they're feeling bad about themselves because they are assessing themselves against all that is around them, who and what is around them, and they feel inadequate. And so they begin to feel bad, they begin to feel sorry. You have people who are good performers on the job, good employees, they work well. But suddenly somebody comes there, another person joins the work team. The person may be very good in IT or whatever, and the person begin to do well, and management begin to call this person to meetings and so on. And suddenly your performance drops because you feel like, well, I'm of no value anymore. Why do I even have to come to work earlier anyway? Because it's not me they inviting to meetings anymore. It's not me. So then suddenly you had a good track record of reporting to work on time, and you're not anymore. Your performance drops because you start feeling, well, who am I? They don't value me anymore.
So self-confidence.
So you begin to
and self-esteem.
That's right. Yeah. It starts showing. The self-confidence begins to deteriorate.
So that's a
you're a footballer. You feel that you're on the bench more often than you play, but you play in midfield, and the three midfielders are performing.
Right.
The coach is simply saying, listen, I know you play in midfield, but every time I put those guys out to play, they're playing well. Suddenly you stop coming to train because you feel you're less than. I finished with this thing. I finished with the thing. So there are so many ways you can identify people who feel that way about themselves.
Would you say, I was just saying, would you say blaming other people for the way your life is going is a sign? You keep blaming other people?
Oftentimes. Right. And that is one of the things I touched on earlier on. You pointing fingers at everybody and everything else for the way things are happening to you. And some of the main reasons is because of you. Okay. It's either because of what you've done or what you never did. Actions you've taken or actions you never take that you were supposed to have taken.
Right.
It's like, okay, Jay has an idea, and Jay goes out, he writes his project, he goes to the government or he goes to a financial institution, he seeks funding, he takes the risk, gets his business going, whatever the project is, and it's up and running. And I'm sitting there, boy, I had that idea in my head, boy. But you see, I know it's Mr. They would give that. People like me, they will never give that to me. And you stay all your life never fully achieving your full potential because it's always, them fellas would never give me their money. It's not me. That man would check because I come from a poor family. I don't have name. You hear that? Or I don't have name and so on. You never went to somebody and said, well, I have an idea. I need you to help me put it down on paper. You go to this financial institution, they turn you down. You go to the other one, they turn you down. Let me give you a quick example. When I came to the United States some years ago, I was doing an exam to get my insurance license and to be licensed in the US and certified. Okay? And I remember while I was going through my training, the lecturer was saying that there was a lady who was working at Home Depot, okay? And she wanted to do the very same thing, get her insurance license. She took the exam 13 times and failed. 13 times and failed. And people kept telling her, you better leave that alone, you'll get a promotion at Home Depot, you get a promotion there, leave that alone, you're going. On the 14th time, she passed. At the time, and that's quite a few years ago, at the time of the lecture, the lady was one of the highest earners. A couple $1 million in that particular insurance, with that particular insurance company.
Wow.
A single mother. So she could have taken on what people were telling her. That you look at how you failing, leave that alone, wait for a promotion there, hopefully you'll get something. She was sitting at the top of one of the regional branches, a multimillionaire, having failed the exam, the qualifying exam 13 times. So again, when you are given lemon, it is up to you if you want to make lemonade out of it or if you want to keep the sour lemon.
And say it's sour.
So there are many situations. You see people, you enter certain workplaces, you see people who are energetic, enthusiastic about their jobs, and you see people walking around like when you talk to them, me, that place there, I not these people, they don't like me here, and you keep saying, you hear that from them, they don't like me. So long I dare not seen where I am, they don't like me. But you don't like yourself,
right,
because you are saying it.
Right.
What are you doing?
You're giving life to that situation.
Yeah. So there are many situations that exist around us where people put themselves in that victim role. Some people, if you read some of the suicide notes some people have written, you'll realize that is where they found themselves.
Yeah.
In a state of helplessness and hopelessness, that nothing else could happen. They were just alone. It's all me.
Right.
I'm all alone. I can't do it. There's no more hope.
Right.
And they feel nothing left to do but to end their lives.
Right.
You understand me?
Yeah. I read this one though. It says when a sign of a victim mentality is when you feel sorry for yourself, it makes you feel a bit better.
But you see, again, that is a false sense of security it gives you, because you're in this little sorry state. So when you feel and if you get to the point where you begin to feel comfortable feeling sorry for yourself, it's bad.
Yeah, right.
It's bad.
It shows your truth.
Because if you're comfortable in that, it makes it more difficult for you to climb out of that.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's bad. If it gets to that point where you feel, well, finally I can breathe because nobody loves me. I'm all alone. It's all me, myself, and I. Then it's bad.
But that's what we're talking about. It's a mentality.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
It's a mentality.
It's a mind thing. It's something. It's something. It's something you have to either take on or not take on. You have to tell yourself.
That's why I like this. The thing it says it's a mindset of learned helplessness. So you're learning certain things that and I'm so amazed by just our ability to become or not to become, to be something or not to be something, or just to be anything. There's such power in the mind to bring us into places where we are ascending or places where we're descending, and you could feel good in both, So I kind of found it strange that you learn it. You learn it, and then they're saying you feel good about feeling sorry. You
see, and there is something. That I was saying, the mind is a powerful thing to waste.
Yeah.
With the mind, you can do so many things.
Right.
And remember earlier on when we started, we spoke about the external forces.
Right.
There are forces in the society designed to put you in that box.
Right. Definitely.
They designed to put you in that box.
Yeah.
But if you are not aware of the forces around you that has the potential to impact upon you, then you're going to become a victim. You're going to become vulnerable to it, and subsequently it's going to take control of you. So it is being alert, it's being aware of everything that is around you, and how can what is the likelihood that situation can impact upon me negatively? You understand me? So this thing of learning to bring yourself, it's like you're cultivating it. If you're not careful, you'll cultivate it. You'll get to the point where you begin to believe that you are stupid. You begin to believe that you are ugly. Right. You begin to believe that because you didn't get 10 CXCs and how many A levels and you don't have a degree, that you're worth nothing. You begin to believe that.
Yeah.
I mean, look at guys who never finished primary school 15 years. And they are the biggest constructors and contractors today, making more money than the guys with all their doctorates and all their master's degrees.
Yeah.
Those guys started from nothing. People used to tell them, They started ponging little hammer, ponging little nail, doing little things. People used to tell them they're stupid. Today, I was sharing it for brother recently. I met this lady working in a condo, and she had how many SUVs and how many people supervising, little lady. And then I decided to engage her, my brother. And she said when she entered the US, she was cleaning people's houses with a bucket, some little DC cleaner little thing and brushes. She was going around cleaning people's houses. And she started to clean so well that people started telling people this lady is good. She started getting so many jobs that she had to now get other people to join her. Today she has a company where she's employing people with how many SUVs, and she's driving around supervising people in the condos in the United States, expensive building that the millionaires own.
Right.
And I'm saying this, she could have come here and paid the victim. Well, it's a little job I get. I'll take the $10 and that's it. $10 and I'll take that and that's it. It's okay, it's all right. And feel sorry for herself. But she decided, that situation going to drive her on.
Okay. But you bring that story up within the U.S. So a person with a victim mentality, and you could tell me if I'm right or wrong in making that assumption, will say, you can say that way wicked, but that's America. That's what Dominica. Would that be an utterance from a victim mentality, or is just
yes? People who they're creating,
but they'll find an excuse.
They're creating space for failure.
Yeah,
they live in that little opening for failure because in their mind, I don't think I'm gonna make it now, boy. I don't think I'm gonna make it. So they live in that little opening there. And once you leave that little window for people to fail, oh well, he always said they wouldn't make it. You are setting yourself up for failure. You have to go all out and tell yourself, I can do better than my current situation. I can climb out of that situation. I have what it takes, Right. And it's not about having a degree. It's not about having, how many subjects. It's not about that. It's about what you have in you, what you make up, what you're made of, what is your mindset. What is your short-term to medium-term goal? What are your objectives? What are you setting out yourself to do? You look at things, you do assess, you tell yourself, in next 2 years, that's where I want to be, and I'm going to work hard at it. And if 2 years comes and I don't get there, listen, that's not the end of the road. Right. People will tell you cannot make it. They're going to tell that to you because they want to probably see if they can get you out of the way for them to make it. Right. But you have to look at the situation and say, if Jack can make it, I can as well.
Right. Yeah, we if you're just tuning in, well, it's 29 minutes going up to the hour of, 10 o'clock? Yeah, so time goes quickly when you're having fun. My guest is Mervyn Paul, and we are on tonight with Get Empowered, and my guest, Mervyn Paul, is living, out of Dominica, but he's joining us via Zoom. And we're speaking of rising above the victim mentality, improving your mental health, preserving and staying in your place of peace. It's 28 minutes before 10. If you have a question or a comment, because we have quite a bit to share, I suspect we have just scratched the surface. We may have a part 2, 3, 4, 5. And Mervyn and I have kind of agreed, so we're going to have conversations. So if we definitely will not finish tonight. We'll come back because it's just so much that we have here to explore. But we want to give you an opportunity. If you have a question, you can call us at 1-800-327, 1-800-327, or 448 3281, 448-3281, or 448-3279. If you're out of Dominica, well, you see the numbers on screen, 305-432-9744. If you're listening, these are the numbers you could call. They are on screen here. Or you can drop your question on the Facebook page. I will monitor that and read your question, or you could send it to me via WhatsApp at 276-5656. That's my personal number, 276-5656, and we can engage you and seek to answer your question. All right? So we'll get back to the conversation shortly. We are just getting it on the surface. So we're just on the surface of things, and there's so much more to explore. And you're listening to DBS Radio. All right, so let's get back to some live conversation. Yes, so Mervyn, as we continue to develop, and I like I just said in there, there's like a spot there. There's so much to explore, so much to deal with that, and I guess maybe I dissected your notes and dug into your notes and found all kind of ways to question you about that, and create questions, and stuff like that. Because I guess in my training, you just learn. I learned to break down things a lot in points. So you see these things and you capture words. So I saw you had a couple of things. I say, well, that's 5 things he's listing. I'm not sure if you saw them as 5 things you're listing. But I say, boy, that is, I just saw that there to help them get over this mental state, they must endeavor to get to the place where they are. And I'm looking at, as you're saying that, accountability. Wow, that's one. And then you said, shift the perspective. Shift the perspective. Help us understand how we get to shift in the way they see things or think differently, shift perspective.
So, 3 of us can be looking at the horizon, and we are asked to write an essay of what we see. Each of us going to write something differently, even if we're writing about the same thing, because we see it differently. We have a different outlook on life. So, we all 3 of us get a job at an institution. Our duties are the same, right? But guess what? If the boss comes in and asks each of us, how do we plan to get to the desired result? I guarantee you, each of us will come up with a different way, a different trajectory, a different strategy, a different process, but ultimately getting to the same result.
Okay.
There are different ways to get to the destination. So it doesn't mean because you see something in a particular way and I see it differently that I am wrong and I have to feel bad about how I see it.
Okay.
You understand me? It doesn't mean I am wrong.
Okay.
It's just a different view of it.
Right.
You understand me? It's a different view of it. Now, can you provide information that justifies the way you see it? If you can, then fine. But that doesn't mean if I decide, well, I'm going to Dominica today, I'm going to fly from the US to Trinidad and Trinidad to Dominica, and you decide you fly in the US to Puerto Rico to Dominica, that I am choosing the bad route or the wrong route. Yeah. You understand me? That is the route I choose. That will get me to Dominica anyway. You may get there before me because your route is a shorter route. And we and as individuals, we need to do that. So you go to do an exam. There are people who are sharper than you. They'll pass the exam on the first count. You may have to take it a second time. I'll give you an example. The work that I do requires a lot of thinking and a lot of computer and a lot of different regulations. Every time we have a training, bro, I'm always the last in the training to grasp. And at one time I used to feel bad about myself, but why is it everybody was picking that up so quickly and I am picking that up? And I said, but Marvin, you're thinking of foolish. That probably simple. You know what I came to understand, bro? I am more process oriented than most of the people. Things have to make sense to me first.
So you linger with something more than...
I run it in my head. It has to make sense to me first. But guess what? I may be a slow starter, but I'm a very strong finisher.
Okay.
I finish strong because as I grasp, I process, I become stronger. And so I may be a slow starter, but a very strong finisher. Now that is a strength that many people do not have. But for a while, it appeared to be a weakness for me because I questioned my ability.
Yeah.
But then I realized, no, you're not stupid, bro. In fact, you're very smart. You just you take time to process stuff because it has to make sense to you. You see? So we have to understand that not because somebody sees something in a particular way and it's different from how we see it, that our point of view is not valid.
And sees you,
and we shut ourselves
because
down.
we're talking about the victim, and sees you in a particular way. I don't mean that you are that.
Exactly.
You know,
It's not because somebody tell you ugly or you're stupid or you'll turn out to be nothing that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then you put yourself in that cocoon where you're scared to even look out the window because somebody told you you're ugly.
Yeah.
So you see, fellas, so there's a particular program I look at. This guy is on his bed with his wife. He has a hat on his head. He goes in the pool. He has a hat on his head because somebody may have told him he has an ugly head.
So I don't have a hat on my head, I have an ugly head.
You know, and as a result, he makes himself look foolish because what you do in a pool with a cap on your head, you sleeping in your bed, you cover in your head because somebody told you have an ugly head. You understand me?
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean because somebody has a particular perspective or a particular view of you that is you.
Yeah,
people will define you the way they sometimes see themselves because it's a reflection of themselves.
Yeah, shift.
So what is important here? It is you.
Shift. Yeah.
And what you take on and what you allow. So you have to shift the perspective. Don't let it become like they stick it on you. You wear it like a badge of honor because that's what they say about you. No.
Right. Next, you say begin to recognize the power which lies within them. All right. So
Absolutely.
begin, which basically speaks to the same thing.
Absolutely. There is power within each of us. There is power, but we just do not use it. We don't use it. And everything that you encounter in life has energy. There's some kind of energy. Are you drawing from that energy? Are you drawing from everything you encounter, everybody you encounter? They bring to your circle, to your sphere, a certain level, a certain type of energy. You understand?
Yeah.
And you need to understand what is it within you that can connect with that external energy that you can use it to work for you, to work in your interest.
Right. And then move from blaming others for their unhappiness. Your people blaming you for their unhappiness is something.
I mean, we've addressed that. We've spoken about that ad nauseum tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, you just keep saying, it's this person, it's they, it's that. They did that to me, society, the country this, and this and that. Quick example. A lot of us Dominicans, the country this and the country that. Guess what? People coming into the country, they starting businesses, they starting farms, they're doing everything, they starting businesses, they have barber shop, they have all kind of businesses, they drive buses on the road. But we sit down, they say, the country hard, but that country thing's tight. Why are you saying that people coming into your country, starting businesses, doing stuff, and doing better than you?
Yeah. Yeah. But I guess one can, again, the victim might say, well, I don't have that type of, that's not my line. That's not my...
Hear the language.
Right.
Hear the language.
That's not my
line.
Hear
the language
that's
you
not,
just used.
Yeah.
No, but hear what you just said. I don't have.
Right.
Once you start looking at what you do not have, you're already in trouble.
Yeah.
You have to look at what do you have.
Yeah, because God always started what you have. Yeah, you always
we can look at the lady in the Bible.
Yeah.
When she said her husband died and they're going to take her son and so on.
He said, what
did Christ say?
What you have in the house.
What do you have? He said, I have nothing. He said, yes, you have. What you have is a lot.
A little bit.
And we know this. Yeah. And we know we can go on in that. So it's once you start looking at it from the standpoint of I do not have or I cannot do, you are already starting on the wrong foot.
All right, so that's part of the victim mentality. So how can you mentioned a few things as to how some things can be done, and then you said there must be the ability to forgive oneself and stop being so hard on yourself.
That is so very important, my brother. We carry with us pain, we carry with us shame and guilt for decades that we can't let go of. There are no perfect people in this world. Yeah. We all have a past. It doesn't mean because I erred in my past, in my growing up, I faltered, I made mistakes, that I have to continue to have that hanging over me like a monster that prevents me from being a successful person.
Yeah.
I have seen guys who were sentenced to be hanged while I was working in Dominica, who went through the grind, came out of prison, and did so well for themselves.
Yeah.
And even when they got onto jobs, people say, Mister, you are working for you. You forget. But if you didn't know, Mister was in jail for rape, Mister was in jail for murder, Mister is the biggest thief in the village, And the boss man say, oh, That's what you were in jail for? I fire you.
Yeah.
Some of them, because of that, they went back and committed crime back in prison.
Yeah.
Some guy said, you know what? I ain't going back there.
Right.
So you fire me today, I go into the next man down the road and get another job.
Yeah.
Or you fire me today, I go to buy my first piece of tool.
I'm learning. So,
I go to ask Jaja to give me $50 for me to buy my first saw. And they start.
Yeah.
So you have to forgive yourself. You have to learn to release and let go of the things that you did wrong or where you were wronged. You need to let go of those things because those things themselves create a barrier as it relates to you getting out of the state of mind that you're in.
Yeah.
And until you learn to forgive yourself, you cannot forgive other people.
It goes back to what you're saying about being accountable to yourself and being thing.
Absolutely.
So, because in that same vein, you say have some compassion on you and let go of anger and bitterness. You're saying all of that stuff, but it has to
Absolutely.
be. It has to be. So much work has to be done. So getting out of
stop
that.
beating up yourself.
Yeah, getting out of that.
Yeah, stop beating up yourself. Stop being angry at yourself. People go to sleep. They wake up in the morning. They angry because, boy, I could have done better. But yesterday's gone. You have today. You know, yesterday's gone. Yes, you could have done better. The fact that you didn't do better yesterday and you have today, then let's make today better. Let's strive to do something different. You know, stop beating up yourself. Stop. You know.
How do you move that one though? In light of it, because you talk about someone who is always blaming themselves. It's not, and you say it's not your fault that you were raped, abused, or bullied. So it's some things that are not your fault. You're saying to that person who was raped, forgive yourself, or abuse. One might ask, forgive myself of what? Forgive myself of what? Because I was raped. Right. I was abused. Right. I was bullied. Forgive myself of what?
Many times, people who are raped, the first question they ask themselves is, what was I doing there? What did I do to cause Mister to rape me? Sometimes you did absolutely nothing. But people sometimes blame themselves. They blame themselves. They say they look for all kind of reasons. And I'll tell you something. I'm going to tell you something. That is a making of society. Society will make you feel it's the way you were dressed.
Okay.
Is you were in the wrong place. You shouldn't be there. That's a place where men alone not supposed to be there. What you doing there? And so you feel so cornered that you take on what you shouldn't take on. You understand me? And you need to tell yourself, listen, if I am sure I did nothing to bring that on myself, I'm not going to stay and wallow in that thing.
Okay.
Now, let me ask you this question, my brother. Think about it that way. What do you have to gain by staying in that state of self-pity and self-blame for the rest of your life? As against telling yourself, I'm going to dust myself up, man. And I'm going to move on. It happened. I will deal with the situation. There may be legal, things I have to deal with. But you know what? That is not going to stop me from having a voice. That is not going to stop me from going and start my business. Right. That is not going to stop me from having a family. That's not going to stop me. You see, many times people get raped and they tell you, I don't want children. And you wonder, why is it they don't want children? Or they don't want relationships. Or you see women who end up being men. And you understand what I'm saying? Because they may have suffered sexual assaults and feel the only way they can turn that around now is to take on the man's role.
Yeah.
But they're never truly living out their true self.
Yeah.
You see, they're missing out on enjoying what it is to be a woman, what it is to be, their gender. So, but they're masking that because
they're subjecting themselves in a pity. Or subjecting themselves in a position to get over what happened to me. I'm going to now be the one inflicting, maybe, I'm inflicting it in a way, but because I'm dealing with it.
But it's double damage because after you suffered the abuse, whatever it is, you are now continuing to hurt yourself more. because you're shutting yourself out. You're now you're telling yourself, I cannot go on. You don't even want to go out because people will look at you and say, look him they rape or look her they rape, and you start blaming yourself.
All right.
You understand me?
A listener is saying, Mervyn, but it's not everyone that has the strength to put all that they heard behind.
Right.
We have agreed. We have agreed. So in that case, we recommend intervention.
Yeah, I say two things though. Two things. One, again, I'm hearing is not everyone that have.
Yeah.
So we're looking at it from a position where what you do not have. And that is something we have to become aware of. When you view the situation, how are you viewing it? Are you viewing it from an angle of what you do not have? Or are you looking at it from
what you have? What
do I have that I can use to work myself out of that situation?
You may not have X, but you may have Z. You know what I mean?
That's
you may
the
have,
point.
Right, you understand?
Too very often we look at what we do not have. What we do not have, what skills we do not have, what mental fortitude we do not have. But do I have a friend? Do I have somebody I can trust? Is there something? What is it that is available to me now that I can use to my advantage? And that is something I always want to tell people. Get away from what you do not have. Bro, there are certain personal situations I wish I could speak about on here
likewise,
today, which I won't.
Yeah, I know.
You know, but I'm telling you, if I didn't take on the mentality of looking at what I have, what is it I have in my hands? Not literally, but what do I have that I can put to work for me? I would have been in a state where I'd be saying, boy, look at Mr. Boy doing well, look at her doing well, and I there. And people will be going past me, doing well, and I'd be constantly looking at what I do not have. But what do you have?
Bro Mervyn, I'm going to make us vulnerable without exposing us too much, if you understand what I'm saying. And I'm a pastor, you know, and I guess you've journeyed in on your way. Within Christianity, for example, that's why we hear everything. It's the only army that shoots its wounded. Keep you there. You get bruised so bad there, you know, because we are judged in terms of morality, in terms of, you know, it's a very delicate thing in that journey. And you could brand yourself or bring yourself to the place where you never become because of all of that. And we have so many persons who were branded, was set, you know, saying, and then they fail now to look at, all right, what is it I have that can get me out of that? We mentioned falling in the hole, being in the pit, being in whatever. Joseph was in the pit. I mean, they took him out of it, but he was in the jail. And he, you know, life will always do that to us, like we said.
Absolutely.
You know, it will always do that to us. So not that somebody, and we say, well, why God didn't stop the man from raping me? Why God didn't stop that husband from doing that to me? You know, from beating me? Why God didn't stop that from happening to me? And stuff like that. And then we become that and we say, well, it's my fault. You know, or we're not moving forward with what. So when the listener, I'm not sure the person may have a follow up. I think they do. They put in a follow up there to what they ask. Let's not start with what we don't have. Let's start with what we have, and sometimes what we have is life and hope. You know, the fact that I survived it. You know, and if I survived it, I can come out of it because and there's I tell persons like I tell myself, what I've suffered, there are people who've suffered it. Some became a permanent victim, some became victors. They rose out of it. They got out of it. I can get out of it too. You know, because I have something. Whatever they had was maybe different from what I have. but I have something. You understand? So I'll wait for the follow-up of the caller. But the next thing we look at is do not give your personal power to people.
That's right.
I really like that. Give some insight on how one can give their personal power to people.
Don't allow people to rent space in your head for free.
Yeah, that I like that one
Don't
too. I was
allow
like,
people to rent space in your head for free.
yeah, I
You know what I mean? So you have a coworker, and the person came onto the job, and the person started crying you down, telling you all sorts of stuff, and you got angry and on the weekend you're walking on the boulevard, and here comes the person walking down. The person haven't even seen you yet, but you're angry. Listen, there's a huge wall, and you're looking for a road through the wall to go. Sometimes you have a drink in your hand, you throw the drink. I cannot stand that lady. I cannot see her. I don't like Mister.
Yeah.
The person haven't seen you. The person on their phone may be talking to somebody else, But you see them first.
They're in your head.
You have given them power over you. Right now, they control your emotion. They control your behavior. They control your thought process. You lie down. Listen, bro, you lie down at your home.
Yeah.
You understand me? You at your home with your family, with your wife, your husband, your children.
And the fourth
The person comes to your mind.
What do?
And you fetch, and your spouse has to ask you,
And you
what happened to
choose
you?
it.
And you're like, nothing. Oh, you mean nothing? You were just good.
Yeah.
Or the person is on television.
Yeah.
The
Oh.
person may be a politician or
I hope he's not one of us.
something.
I hope he's not one of us now.
All of a sudden, you like, by mashing up that TV, you vex. And the person not seeing you, they're not hearing you.
Right.
They're on television, but you ready to mash up your television.
Yeah.
You want to
break
turn off
something
your
at
radio.
home. Yeah.
You go to a function, the person, you go to church. You and the person got to decide when you go to church, I'm not sitting down on that bench. I go in a different row. Or I'm not going to church. Is that person going to church today? I'm not there. And you are constantly in a state of torment. You give the person the power without they even asking you for it. You handed them power.
Yeah.
And they ruling. And so every time you see the person, you're angry. Let them go. Release them.
Take them off
Don't
your
allow
head.
them to rent space in. Yeah.
No,
and
they're not paying, eh? And you have them
for free.
evict them.
For free. Evict them.
Evict them.
First of all, in the first case, you brought them in there without they asking you to come in there.
Right.
So you might as well take them out and tell them get out.
Yeah.
Because they are controlling you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're telling your children, when you go on the playing field, don't play with that person, child. Putting the child through some stress, the child wondering what happened.
Yeah.
And then you've lost control.
Yeah.
People go to the supermarket, they go to the huge freezers. The person is on the other side of the freezer taking some cheese. I'm coming out there. They're waiting.
Yeah.
No, if I'm that person, bro, and it's you doing that, I stayed in the freezer for a whole hour. Let me see if you will never come back there.
Yeah, they live and go and get something. Yeah, just leave. Put everything down. I'm not coming back and shop there. Oh yeah, whatever. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So we have to move beyond those things, man. We have to.
So you can't always look for another road, another thing. So what should you got to? Do you say you confront? Do you say you avoid? Because you're saying that person is in the freezer, that person of thing. Is it some point you confront? Is it a point you avoid? What do you do?
No, well, if you're going to confront, you have to understand. You have to examine your motive. If you're going to confront the person to create a ruckus, that is not healthy. Mm-hmm. If you're going to confront with a view of amicably seeking to resolve whatever issues may be, listen, I have had people who've walked up to me and say, "You don't like me?" I'm like, "What?" "I don't like you." "Yeah, because every time I look at you, I find you watching me funny." I said, "Me?" But that is how they were looking at me. Right. They thought that I was looking at them funny. Yeah. Bro, these are people I probably never even looked at, But you see, so if you're going to confront a person, it has to be to find resolution, right. Because you have to care about yourself. You have to care about your spirit. You have to care about your mind. You have to care about your soul. You have to care about who you are. Yeah. And so if it means I have to woo you into my corner so I can make peace with myself, I'm going to do it. Right. I'm going to talk to you.
Yeah. The pride.
I don't have to be your friend, your buddy.
Our pride sometimes keeps us as victims.
Absolutely.
Yeah, pride sometimes.
Foolish pride too.
Yeah, foolish
makes
pride.
you victimize yourself.
Yeah, Jimmy Cliff has that song, "Foolish Pride." Yeah, and so you confronted a way to resolve, and you avoid to what? If you avoid it,
But again,
you,
if
is that you don't avoid?
Yeah, well, of course, there are situations you have to avoid.
Yeah.
There are people you have to avoid. Because listen, if I know that you can cantankerous, if I know you unapproachable, if I know, it doesn't make sense I go and confront you. Because I know what's going to end up. I know it's going to end up being.
Right.
But at the same time, because I know what you present, I'm going to release you. I'm going to forgive you and release you. So I don't hold bitterness in my heart towards you. But I will not have, any. I wouldn't come to your house and sit down and break bread. I wouldn't, pick you up and tell you let's go on a line in my vehicle because I know what sort of person you are. Until you are able to show that you are at the point where you are able to deal with me at that level, I will release you. That doesn't mean I hate you. That doesn't mean I am bitter with you. But of course, you have to use wisdom in everything as you exercise wisdom.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So, for example, somebody rips you as a woman. Somebody sexually abuse you. You're not just going to meet the person all of a sudden 2 days after that and just say, "Well, why did you do that?" No. I mean, you heal, you take time to heal and so on. But that may be somebody that you may eventually need to talk to be able to find out from them, why did all of that happen? It may not happen today. It may not happen tomorrow. But you may need to talk to that person. Why did that happen? Why did you do that? And you know what? It may be surprising to find out that person themselves needed help. Because they may have been a victim of the same thing. They needed help. But of course, like everything else, you assess situations.
Right.
But what I'm saying here essentially is you need to take people off your mind.
Head.
Don't allow them to rent space in your head for free.
Yeah. Just a follow up. I put my head down, checking you, and I looking up at the clock, and it says it's 10 o'clock already. I was like, wow, time to. So the person who spoke of, what do the person have? They're saying intervention and support are highly needed, but do all have they are unable or not have the ability to combat the barrier that causes them to use what they have. Well, I hope that. But then finally it said, one can give their personal power to others because they are scared to fight back, coward to face the fighter,
true.
and vulnerable to show off their power and win. So we have interesting
That's
words
true.
here. We have the fact that they're scared to fight back. So you just saying, so you give their coward.
Fear absolutely can put you in that state where it freezes you. It really just it numbs your ability to do anything for yourself.
And then again, coward to face the fighter is the same thing. But the other thing is saying is vulnerable to show off their power and even to win. Because when you come, and we'll maybe wrap up on that part, approaching certain things can put you to a place where you are so vulnerable that you think of, will I become a victim again? You understand? Because I'm coming to you. You mentioned the rapist. That might be a tough thing for somebody who is raped to go to somebody and say, why did you do that?
But if you notice, I spoke about time.
You're right.
I said there's a process of healing that needs to take place before you confront the person who perpetrated that thing. There's a process of healing. So time.
So I'm looking at it, because even if there's time, one can still say you put yourself. Vulnerability is a thing that makes us naked, bro. Vulnerability it can put you to the place here, man. You could be raped. Not necessarily physically in that sense.
Again, you have to put it in context. You have when you're talking vulnerability, you have to put it in context. You understand me?
Yeah.
Because as a husband, you make yourself vulnerable to your wife.
Right. Yeah.
But
we're talking about victims here, and
right.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. So right. So when the person said vulnerable to show off your power, you don't listen. If we need to get an understanding on that, and again, that's another whole subject on its own. But we need to get an understanding of what power is. You see, the perception of power always is might, is force, is being very, very visible and very. No, power is not always like that. You see, there is quiet power. There is subtle power. You understand me? And you don't necessarily have to show off your power. You can take your power back from whoever you've given to it in a very quiet but confident way.
Right.
You understand me? Quiet confidence.
Screaming doesn't mean authority.
You have those who have a big mouth like me. Blah, 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 blah. You have those who you won't hear them, but you will feel their presence.
Yeah.
You will feel their impact.
Yeah.
They once they enter the room, that you know they're there. You know, they say something, a few words, and you know that person means business.
Present, yeah.
You understand me? So again, it is not about seeking to project yourself on anybody or any situation. It is first of all about you having that self-confidence, being intrinsically motivated, internally fortified, being confident in who you are. It is not being confident in the eyes of who you think or somebody else think you are. It is being confident in who you are.
You are.
Once you are confident in who you are,
Quiet confidence.
then you know what? You will start where you are. And people will say, so long you're doing that, that's okay.
Yeah.
You are confident in your ability and you're going to get there. You are confident in your ability and you will make it.
Right.
Listen, that is why I say all the time. They can give you can be born in a rich family. They can give you all the money, all the wealth that the family has. If you are not somebody who's made of solid metal, you have a strong mind, you have vision, you understand me?
Yeah.
You have purpose in life. All of that will come to naught.
Right. Purpose preserves you. Yeah.
You understand me? So a lot of times people find themselves in that victim mentality mode, in that state, because they're not aware of who they are. They're not aware of their strengths. And so they seek to get platitudes and justifications from outside. So unless somebody tell me, yeah, I'm confident in you, I'm not confident in myself. Right. Unless somebody tell you, yeah, but you can do it, I don't tell myself I can do it. Even if somebody tells you can do it, but behind closed doors, you've lacked that confidence. They can tell that to you until the cows come home. You'll never push forward because in yourself, you don't feel that you're capable of doing it. Yeah. So it is about finding out who you are. First, knowing who you are. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What makes you tick? You know, a lot of people don't even know what makes them angry. They don't even know what makes them angry. When you ask them, but why are you angry now? But I don't know, they just say, what you angry about, bro?
My blood, and they give themselves a reason. My blood is close to my skin. Since I know myself,
that is how I am.
No, I said no. You can't continue to be that. So you are.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So then these are signs of people who don't know who they are, and that is why sometimes they fight back. They're angry. They're ready to take your head off because they have hurts. They have issues that they don't want you to get close to. So they put on the facade. And they mask it, and they come at you with anger. When sometimes the most angry people are the softest people, the nicest people. But that's how they protect that vulnerability. That they protect that that little space. And people need to get out of that little space and explore who you are. Right. Put yourself out there. You know, I tell people all the time, you know, if I had to respond to the amount of times people tell me I was ugly and I had ugly legs and I was crooked and I was this, man, I would be looking for a big blanket to cover myself every time. But Jay, I can look at myself in the mirror today and say, bro, you look good.
Yeah, man.
You're handsome. You look good, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, when I came to Dominica recently and people said, boy, you're not getting old, man. You're looking well. You know, I said thank you, but in myself, I felt good about who I was because I knew I was taking care of myself. I knew what I was doing.
Right. Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So I thank people for that, but it didn't come as a surprise.
Yeah.
You understand me? So and a lot of people lack that unless they get that outside, they look for that kind of external, kind of glory, or people have to tell you how you good or what you did. They feel like I can't do anything for myself. I can't do anything. I worth nothing. I have no worth. My voice doesn't matter. My ideas are not matter. They don't matter, and all those things. And I can tell you, I can speak from personal experience, particularly in this society that I'm living. People are going to find ways to look down upon you. They're going to find ways to tell you all kind of stuff. Especially with the current vibe that is going on. But you have to walk confidently, and more so, I'll say that finally, as a believer, when you know who you are in Christ, man, when you stand on the promise of the word of the living God, and he says to you, that no weapon formed against you shall prosper. People can tell you all kind of things that may happen to you, but you can walk knowing that in God you have worth. In Christ, you have value. That kind of thing. And I believe that is another aspect that we can probably do an entire program on in the future.
Right.
But you need to find the things and the people and the avenues that will help you build on the strengths that you have.
Yeah. I would say this, and I it's so powerful what you just, what you said. We started by talking about the environment and everything around us. Things come at crushing us, and it's almost like you cannot escape it. So God, in His Word, will end with that. Said one of the things He said, when you look at the way He speaks to us, not necessarily at us, but to us. He always speaks to us in a way that builds us. So here's one of the beautiful things it says. He gives beauty in place of ashes, because he knows that so many things happen around us, to us, and even by ourselves, to ourselves, that can reduce us to ash, just mess us up. He said, guess what? I will give you beauty instead of it. So to anyone tonight who feels that they are a victim, that this has happened, that has happened, this has happened, I've been raped, I've been bullied, I've been abused, they kicking me all the time, they tell me I'm a dog, they call me names, they do that. He says, the one who restored, because he's the only one. I remember doing a course at when I went to college about, it was a course on deliverance, but it spoke so much about our soul, which is what the enemy is after, bruising and hurting. That he says, that's one of the things I want to restore. Restore. The psalmist said this in Psalm 23, the Lord is my shepherd. We say that. One of us said, he restores what? He restores my soul. He restores. And that, so anyone tonight who feels, I guess you'll share your thing in that, who feels as a victim, and they have just been at that place where they are, victim in their mind. They just feel so low, they feel so down, they feel so insecure. You mentioned the names you were called. I know the names I was called, but he gives beauty in place of ashes. If we throw ash, we do that. He says, look, I'm going to pull you together. So that's what I will say to this one, to this wife, to this husband, to this man. Because I will emphasize men, because this month is mental health month for men. I'll emphasize it because we don't, like we speak here tonight, as men we hide. Men commit suicide. We had one this year, I think, or two. They do that to themselves. Guys drink themselves into drowning their problem, and our society currently is not helping it. Our society currently, with the present trend that's happening, is now helping our victim to to just camouflage some things, to, and not deal with the root. So we're drowning them with one activity after the other, and persons cannot look themselves in the mirror. They don't even have the time to do that. And then all of a sudden, they're no more. They this, they that, and the other. So that's what he does. He gives us beauty in place of ashes to bring us together. I'll get your final words, and then we will just bless the Lord, and we out of here. We'll talk about doing that again not too long from now.
Well, you've said it all. I mean, there's very little I want to add to what you've said. My urge is that people would take some time to just do some self-introspection. First of all, get to know yourself better. Get to know your strengths. Get to know the areas of opportunity. I don't even call it weakness, but the areas of opportunity. Because everything that appears to be a weakness is an area of opportunity. And too many times we look at what is it that's not working for me? What is it I do not have? That's an opportunity. It's an opportunity. Every time you look at something that looks like it's affecting you negatively, it's an opportunity. You need to look at what you have that you can use to work for you and get yourself out of that situation, that mindset that you're in. It's not about, I cannot do it because I cannot do it because my boss don't like me. I cannot do it because they don't like me. I cannot do it because that is not working. You are living in a real world, and to every negative there is a positive. In other words, there is the opposite side to it. So if there is something that is not working, there must be something that is working.
Find what is
There
working.
is something that is working.
Find
you
it.
need to find out what is working and put it to work for you. There is no reason for you to take your own life. There's no reason for you to get so angry that you abusing your children, you're abusing your spouse, you're abusing your siblings, you're abusing people, whether verbally or otherwise. There's no reason for that. Lord, whatever it is that's causing you to be this bitter person, let it go. Whatever it is that's causing you to be so scared and fearful in life, the Bible says fear is torment. Let it go. For as long as you remain scared and fearful, you're going to be in torment. Everything is going to scare you. Everything is going to look like it's coming for your jugular. And sometimes hope and opportunity present themselves in disguise. But you don't see it because you're viewing everything from a negative standpoint. So a challenge comes your way. It's an opportunity for you to grow. But you see it as an opportunity for you to run. And you run away. When all you need to do is challenge your fears, challenge the gray area, and see what is on the other side.
Wonderful.
Because as long as you have lack, and as long as Christ remains Christ, which he will, there is always hope, and there is always the opportunity to do better by yourself.
Wonderful. Thanks much, bro, and appreciate the time. I guess we'll do we'll get all the reviews, but apart outside of the reviews, I'm comfortable, and I know you are that way. It's like I preach, and there are times when you never hear anything, but in your heart you delivered, and you've helped somebody, and I know in my heart that we've helped somebody. So thank you so much for.
So before I clock out, I just need to say, that like I mentioned earlier on, our non-profit organization Transformation Point Inc. We are looking to come home in August. We're coming to do some work with our men. We're looking at having activities in the Southeast, the North, the Central, the West Coast, the Northeast. We're looking probably at a 10-day mission. We really have a passion for our young men and our men. And so if you feel that you want to, you want to partner with us, you want to
let's get the team on a conversation like tonight. Let's work on getting the team. Let's work you say in August. Let's work on the team. Early July on the program. Let's do a program.
Absolutely. And the brothers would be more than happy to come on. But we're looking to come home to really do some good work and to develop some long-lasting relationships with our men as we seek to do what God has called us to do, and that is to really enhance His kingdom in this life.
Amen. Wonderful. Looking forward to partnering with you, even if you just get empowered to share the word, because we need to be lifted.
That's right.
we just folks need to be lifted. A lot of bad words are expressed. People hear a lot of people hearing bad things in the world. Songs these days are raping through songs. Men are taking in songs that are raping them, raping their mind, messing. Just I was gonna use a word there, but I guess I may hold back that word. But people are listening to things that just messing them up. Our society is so messed up because the vibes, the lyrics in songs, it is really messing people up, So that's the same avenue we have to. You got to bombard that way too. So if the positive vibes can come, feed me. That's why I tell a person I cannot waste any time. Every opportunity I get, I have to now fight what is spoken to you that is destroying you, and now make a deposit of something that will bring life. So on Get Empowered, that's I can't waste radio time. I don't know how long I'll be on radio. I don't know how long I'll have the opportunity to do what I do there. So I don't come here for 3 hours on a Tuesday night and just want to waste it. Everything is so calculated. Because people are hearing stuff that is messing them up. So I need to know through that means speak to heal, speak to help, speak to live, speak to build, So I thank you for coming on. It was very I benefited from hearing you, and I appreciate you sharing what you share, and we'll do that again. We partner.
Let me thank you, Pastor Jacques, for having me on. It's really been my pleasure.
Well, you call me Pastor Jacques. Since you just call me that, no, it's Jay just call me.
Jay, thank you, Jay, for really, bringing me on. I'm very humbled by that, and I just want the world to know that you and I have a very, very, very close and good bond and friendship. And I think it's only going to get better as we continue to talk and seek to combine our efforts. To help lift our people, help lift our men,
right.
And just make our contribution while we're there.
Yeah, man.
And utilize time wisely. So God bless.
Amen.
And I look forward to being with you again.
Pleasure, and definitely I'll let you know, because my calendar, my planner is right with me, and I'm doing this, so I kind of look ahead. All right, so thank you so much. Next week we'll be having a guest. We'll be having a guest. We'll continue the conversation on mental health. Someone who have been with me, it's another man. We're going to be with me, and we're looking at a powerful discussion. We've had some conversation before, and we're looking forward to that. So thank you, Mervyn. Have a good night. Blessings to you.
God bless.
I know you're not going to drive home,
no.
So just roll over and be safe.
That's right. That's right.
Let's roll over and be
All right,
safe.
God bless you.
All
brother.
right, peace, yeah? Thanks.
All right,
good. All right, this was Get Empowered for tonight. My guest, Mervyn Paul. Mervyn is a friend, a family friend, a personal friend, a buddy, and one who could give me a job if I have to get it, but he won't. But he'll tell me straight off we have this kind of conversation. Truly appreciate him. And my name is Michael Jacques, and that was Get Empowered for tonight. As you see, it's rising above the victim mentality. All right, improving your mental health, preserving and staying in a place of peace. I tell you this, there are times, that's why, the whole thing, people that will rob your peace, block them out. You know what I mean? There's some conversation, it's like, nah, I can't have that. Okay, all right, okay, all right, I can't have that. I'm not going to go there. My peace is so important. And, the choice of bringing people into your space, that's the power we have. And we have the power to let people within our space, and when people are allowed into your space, ensure that they are there to help you with either preserving that peace you have and staying there, or helping you get there. But toxic people and toxic vibes, as much as possible, think that. Find ways to continue to get healing, so that you don't become a victim, mentally. You rise above, the victim mentality. You rise above it. And and also in light of that final comment, don't look at everybody with suspicion. They are good people. They're good people. I remember going in a business place and just was saying good morning to this lady, and she looked at me and said some things to me like, and the Holy Spirit just said to me, say to her, not everybody that come into you got to behave that way. Leave room for love, because you were hurt by a man, you may be healed and helped by a man. And I wasn't trying to say that to be her man. I was just saying to that because the Lord led me to say that to her. But you cannot treat every man, in a way that he is coming to hurt you. There are men who come to hurt. There are men who come just to take. There are men who come, and their agenda is to be, to conquer you. But not every man come with that agenda. And a lot of persons have, and vice versa, not a woman come in your space to have. A lot of people have robbed themselves of healthy friendships and relationship because they feel, as a victim. That person come in is coming to add to my pain. I had pain already and all of that stuff. Not everyone coming into your space is like that. God is too good to you. God is too good to me. God is too good to us, in that sense, to allow us to just be knocked over. He's sending people into our heart, into our space to help us. So this is it. Get empowered for tonight. Thank you so much. May the Lord continue to bless you and heal you and help you. All right, let me drop this and then we will just wrap this up. Let me see how I kind of just get all of that. All right, nice.
Living in the positive.
Here is an invitation to get empowered on DBS Radio every Tuesday evening from 8 to 10. It is a program designed to lift you, helping you to be better, not bitter, helping you to live in the positive, inspiring, uplifting, and impactful. Get Empowered covers topics and real-life situations that are often not discussed. Get Empowered will seek to help you find a reason, not an excuse. Get Empowered provides laughter and encouragement with positive interaction. You can also join the conversation. No subject is too heavy for the team and